In March, the weather will be very unstable. Two strong fronts are expected to pass. In the southern United States of America, there may even be 2 to 3 tornadoes. Well, there may even be more, and there will also be severe frosts in some parts. Now let's take a look at this storm on this front line. It's cold air coming in, which is displacing warm air from the northern United States of America. From here, warm air is coming in. So we're expecting severe weather conditions here, which by the way are happening right now: thunderstorms, hail, squalls, and even heavy downpours. Well, it will leave us later today, closer to the evening, so more or less good weather is expected. If you look a little to the north, we also have another front passing through here right now, which came in from the Pacific Ocean. It also passes through our northern parts, and then it will move here. In general, we expect the most snow here because it's still cold here, and it will go to the Atlantic Ocean through the northeast. Therefore, in this forecast, we will take a more detailed look at what the weather will be like in the next 2 weeks, and we will also compare several forecast models, so let's watch. Well, to more accurately predict what the weather will be like, I suggest that you and I immediately look at the wind speed, which will be at an altitude of 9,000 m. Let's take a quick look at this cyclone that's passing by. It will be moving northeast, so it's expected to leave us soon. As I said, just another day or two, and it will be gone. But pay attention to this jet stream. It's cold air coming in from the northern United States of America, so it's expected that this is how it will all go. Accordingly, cold air will come in because the cyclone is moving further south and cold air is pushing it out of Canada. It's not expected to be very cold, but a cold cyclone caused by an anticyclone will displace this air a little. But I repeat again that nothing so terrible is expected. If you look even further, it's Saturday and Sunday. You see cold air, and it will still be there, and now it's coming to the end of its life. Overall, the weekend will be calm. Only in some states it is expected that there will be 2 or 3 small rains. If it is the northern United States, then there may even be snow here. Nothing like that is predicted yet. The weather will be calm. The only thing that may happen is a little snow here. 5 to 7 centimeters may fall. Well, in the south it may go away. Accordingly, from this cyclone we may have small rains, and even thunderstorms may thunder accordingly. But closer to the 4th or 5th, this same cyclone will form very strongly, that is, develop very strongly, and already on the 5th or 6th, as you can see, this air stream is just entering us. Warm air is coming from here, cold air is coming from the north, and that's why it's displacing our cyclone. That's why it's bending so much, and where there are more isobars, the air will be very, very thin, and there will be a lot of precipitation. Heavy rains are expected, and there may even be flooding in some of our states. I'll talk a little about that later. Now let's see what happens next. So if we scroll closer to the 6th of the 7th, this cyclone will leave. Nothing so terrible is predicted further, but there will be some unstable air masses here. Maybe in Arkansas, Oklahoma, Texas, the Gulf of Mexico, but nothing so terrible is expected for us yet. In general, if you look at the weather throughout March, there will be many storms. Thunderstorms may also occur here, and it is expected that there may even be 2 or 3 strong tornadoes. So let's look even further. Up until the 9th, 10th, you see another cyclone coming in. Its air current is so high with wind speeds of up to 80 meters per second. Well, this is the cyclone itself. So in the north we may have snow. Here we will most likely have heavy rain, thunderstorms. There may even be hail, micro gusts. So let's look even further. Well, I'll tell you this, the further we look, the less likely it will be that this storm will happen, because you understand that the further we look, the less likely it is. Well, the last front that will come into our country, the last one as far as our weather model predicts, this cyclone will also pass near the state of Missouri, near the state of Kansas, Kentucky, so it will also move to the Atlantic Ocean, that is, to Central America, and then come ashore. Therefore, we will accordingly watch what it will be, follow our predictions, subscribe to the channel as well. While our weather in the middle troposphere is shaped by strong winds, in the meantime, let's see what kind of precipitation we will have. I want to say right away that there is a cyclone going through right now. It will leave us today. So in the north of the United States, you can see light precipitation in the form of snow, here precipitation in the form of rain. Then we have another cyclone that is closer to Canada, closer to the north. It is generally in the north. So here we are passing through. The snow falls approximately up to 3 to 5 centimeters. Here we generally have no precipitation in the rear part of the cyclone, because it is already mixing with the anticyclone and high pressure. so we are not expected to have any precipitation here. If we look at the weather in the future, let's consider. You see, this cyclone is moving slightly south from us, that is, towards Central America. It will pass through the Ohio Valley and then exit through New York, through Ottawa, and then move towards the Atlantic Ocean, that is, towards the coast. This cyclone will pass around Saturday, and on Sunday it will come ashore. Let's look further. In general, the weekend will be, as I said, without any significant rains and also without winds, so nothing so terrible is expected. The only thing you see starting from the second night, that is, from Sunday, is expected that in the states of Oklahoma, Texas, New Mexico, a small frontal, and it can lead to thunderstorms, hail, squalls, so expect one tornado to come. Maybe even 2 or 3. It could be in the afternoon, when the temperature warms up the most, and then we can expect severe weather conditions. Because this thunderstorm is strong, there can be up to 10 lightning strikes per minute. So be careful, don't go outside, try to stay at home at this time. As I said, this cyclone will be small, so closer to Monday it will leave us, meaning it will dissipate around the state of Mississippi, and it will not reach Alabama. If we look at the 4th and 5th numbers, a very strong cyclone will come to us. Look, starting from the 5th number and from the night, very heavy precipitation is forming. This is at such a trough, its tail, that is, in the tail it is expected that the most precipitation will fall. In its rear part there is practically no precipitation, but cold air is already coming in behind it. So you see, cold air is coming in here, displacing it, and the rain will only fall in its central part and in its front part. The southern part will take the brunt of the blow. This is Texas, Alabama, Georgia, North and South Carolina. Let's run the model a little further. You see, this cyclone will then move away from us to the Atlantic Ocean. Snow is expected in part of this cyclone, so there will be heavy snowfall on the lakes near New York and Pennsylvania. Here we may have hail, so there may be wet snow, but most of all I expect that it will still rain, and there will even be thunderstorms. In the tail of the cyclone, in the south, we will have thunderstorms and heavy rains. Let's look even further. Our forecast for 10 days is going to be 10 to 12. I don't expect anything like that, but in the northwest, a small front is expected to pass and come in. Well, how small? That is, the concentration of snow will be very narrow in one city in one state, Washington. Then it will probably go to Montana. Let's see. You see, in the state of Washington, the most precipitation is expected right here in the area. That is, right on the coast. Here we can get up to 40 to 50 centimeters of snow. In total, there will be about 20 to 30 centimeters of snow, maybe even up to 40 centimeters. If we take the average value, well, it will be in a week, even more, even in 8 to 9 days. Friends, the probability of this forecast is still very low. It is about 10 to 15% that this forecast will come true, will be confirmed. Well, and then on the 10th to 11th, there will be another cyclone coming in, and again it will bring the most precipitation in the states of Missouri, Indiana, Kentucky, Arkansas, and you can see its trough. Here even another cyclone is also forming from the Gulf of Mexico, so expect there to be precipitation as well. Well, we'll talk about this with you closer to the 12th and 13th, so we'll have a lot to talk about with you by then. Well, if we look at the 13th and 14th, there will even be another very strong storm coming in. It will even form from the Gulf of Mexico. It will draw in moisture, and cold air will come in from the north. So it mixes, and we are expecting such heavy precipitation, up to 60 to 70 millimeters of precipitation, which is a lot. We'll look at this a little later. Now let's take a look at my atmospheric instability index, also called atmospheric instability, which tells you what a severe weather event will be like. And if we look at Monday evening, we have a cyclone forming. I already told you about it. It will move towards the southern United States of America. If you look at Monday evening, you can see that the instability index is starting to form. That is, from the south. This is the Gulf of Mexico, northern Mexico. There will be thunderstorms here on Monday evening, but it is not yet the peak of activity. Let's look a little further. You see, on Tuesday afternoon, very strong weather phenomena are expected. That is, the atmosphere is very unstable, 1700 even 1800 J/kg. This can lead to strong hurricanes. Microbursts can even cause individual isolated tornadoes. It will take place in the state of Missouri, Arkansas, in the state of Texas. Well, even here in the east of the state of Texas. It will also affect Louisiana a little, and then the cyclone will also move towards the Atlantic Ocean. But the peak is expected on the evening of the 4th, so you can see Tuesday evening, Wednesday, and here in Mexico City, there will even be heavy precipitation. The Cape Index there can reach up to 2,800 J/kg. And in Mexico City, it will even be as high as 3,500 to 3,700. That is, there are a lot of them. Friends, I do not advise going outside at all, because if tornadoes happen at night, you may not even notice them. Of course, we will warn you about all this, but if possible, do not go outside. Therefore, this cyclone will not last long, and by about the 5th, it will lose its strength, and accordingly, thunderstorms will lose their strength, severe weather phenomena. Well, let's take a look at the temperature indicators with you. In general, there won't be any big changes. It will be colder somewhere, warmer somewhere. A couple of cold fronts may come in the north, but it's not Arctic cold there. Minus 40 degrees, minus 45 degrees, minus 50 degrees frost. Well, it won't matter. It will be cold. So if you look here, a cyclone is forming right now. It's passing through the central part of the United States of America. Here we have an anticyclone forming. You see, that's why we will have cold weather here, respectively. There will be warm weather here. It will be warm only in this rear part of the front, because the cyclone draws in cold air in the front part, warm air in the rear part, respectively. In the south there will be traditionally warm weather. This is Mexico, the Gulf of Mexico, so you can go there in t-shirts, shorts, swim. Whoever likes to sunbathe, so you can do all this already. If we look further, what will change? But in principle, nothing much will change. In the north, in the Oga Valley, it will still be cold. In the south, it will be a little warmer. And here you see an anticyclone coming in. That is an elevated air mass. So it goes like this. The cyclone accordingly displaces it. This cyclone has already gone to the Atlantic Ocean. So we have this line here. You see an arc of cold air here. Accordingly, warm air comes here from the Pacific Ocean. And accordingly, the anticyclone blocks it, does not let this warm air through. Let's look further. Well, you see, nothing really changes here. But when this cyclone comes, do you remember? I told you when we were looking at precipitation that we will have a strong front coming in from Monday evening. This is this cyclone, and look at the temperature contrast. That is, its front part will be very warm. This is a very pronounced temperature contrast, but the back part will already be cold, because cold air, an anticyclone, is coming in. It is pulling up, a cold air mass is coming in here. So it is expected that there will be a sharp drop in temperature later. But before I said it, I will repeat it again, we expect strong weather phenomena. These are micro gusts, thunderstorms, supercells, and hail may pass, and there may even be very large hail, from 3 to 5 centimeters, even more. So I do not recommend it. As I say, I will remind you once again, I do not recommend you to go outside. It is better to sit at home there, read books, watch videos, watch cartoons, movies. But do not go out into the yard because there may even be floods, and therefore it can be very, very bad. Let's look further. This cyclone will accordingly go to the Atlantic Ocean. It will come ashore and accordingly with it. And a wave of such cold air is also expected. It will not be contrasting. There will be no severe cold. But we expect about minus 30, minus 35, minus 40 degrees frost. Well, it's even 40 in cities. In general, it will probably be even 15 to 20 degrees frost. There will be no severe cold. Well, traditionally, of course, it will be warm in the southern part of the United States of America. This is the Gulf of Mexico and Mexico itself, even Arkansas, Texas. These states will also be more or less warm, well, as usual. Then let's see, even on the 5th, it will be very warm in the Gulf of Mexico. It will even be very hot in Mexico. So the temperature will be like summer. It will be hot. I would even say so. Well, you see, it is expected that closer to the 7th to 8th, there will also be an exit of cold air. It will enter the Ohio Valley. Even in its southern part it will reach. So in general, the entire eastern part, the eastern, central, and northern parts of the United States will be cold, because this is connected with the exit of cold air, caused by the anticyclone, increased pressure. Let's take a look further. Well, nothing like that is expected anymore. Everything is standard. It will be cool in the north. It will be warmer in the south. Here's another cyclone coming in. Here's its trough. And this is our cyclone. It will also come in. Accordingly, all these states, Arkansas, Texas, Louisiana, Missouri, here everywhere there will be warm weather, and there will also be precipitation. Accordingly, here we will have cold air coming in. It will mix with warm air. And as always, we expect there to be severe weather events. So let's look further. Well, nothing like this is expected in the north, there in Canada. Also to the Great Lakes, cold air will come in, so it will still be cold in the lakes, of course. Friends, on this, in principle, I want to end our weather forecast issue, so as not to miss our future issues and warnings. So subscribe to our channel, like, comment, recommend to your friends so that they also watch us. So I wish you a good day and success in all your endeavors.